My name's Owen. I'm the Dungeon Master of our Return of the Giants campaign.
Hey guys, I'm Jared. I'm playing the character of Crassus, Antares, a astral elf wizard.
Hi everybody, I'm Michael. I'm playing Tetra Aeonite, Circle Stars Druid.
Hi, my name's Claire. I am playing Niles, or Now, who is a Dwarven Forged fighter.
Hi, I'm Ali, and I'm playing Lyra, the Eladrin Druid.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm playing Niles Silverwind, the monk Owlin.
Hi guys, my name's Simon. I'm playing the character of Ember. He wants to be a master of wildfire, but does he have the skills to be best one?
Hi, I'm Dave. My character is Harry Harrington the Harengon, a roguish merchant with a heart of gold.
Hello!
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Lost Archives for our Return of the Giants campaign. It is very exciting to be back playing Return of the Giants, especially because we haven't been able to stream this week at all. Unfortunately, we had a few players who weren't able to make it on Monday. Actually worked out quite well because I've been pretty sick as well. And then Tuesday, same story. I'm mostly better tonight, but there will be times where I have to mute my microphone and cough my lungs up in the corner. Please do excuse those moments. I will do my best to catch the mute button. If you're looking for the person to blame for why I'm sick, it has to be the man who I was spooning last weekend, Simon Kerr.
Yeah, that's
you were feeling a bit sick last week, weren't you, mate?
No, not terrible, but it hit me last week, and then I think it got you a couple of days later. But I was in a different state by that stage, so I'm not going to take all the blame.
That's fair. To be fair, I got sick exactly one day after you, so probably it wasn't you. It sounds like we were infected by the same person, which is a real bummer. Chat's what is making me cry. Simon and I work for the same company, just in different states. We had a big conference, not like 3 days ago, but the weekend before that, and we were sharing a room because we generally get along okay, as opposed to most of the other people that we work with.
Is that what they're calling it these days, Owen?
Yeah.
Conference.
Big spoon, little spoon, yeah. We work very well together.
Yeah.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Simon and I have now worked for the same company in the same job for the last 8 years, 7 years, even though it's been because we're also doing the same job for a different company, but both of us are at the same company before this job we're both in. So we seem to sort of follow each other into different careers. It's quite handy.
Yeah, it's not small world ophthalmology.
It is, yeah. It's a very small. I say follow. Simon literally recruited me in, so it's not even a follow situation. It was an acquisition.
And an easy way to get him out of Victoria into Queensland. So
it was an easy way to get me into the Sunshine State once again. Now, for those of you who are joining us tonight, this is our new main cast. The people you see before you, except Matt's camera, of course, has not loaded in immediately. I will quickly load that in right now. With Claire and Michael now taking care of a new human being, a brand new soul that has entered the world. We are going to be persisting and powering on without them for the time being. They will be joining us again in the near future. However, taking care of a human is a pretty involved process, especially one at the tender age of 0. So they will be joining us when they are able. It may be some time before we see them again, but that's okay. The adventurers come and go, but the story stays the same. And Matt, Jared, Ali, Dave, and Simon will be your new main cast members heading forwards. So
I'm just as disappointed, guys. I'm sorry.
What a dick.
Wow.
What an asshole.
Wow.
The other thing that we have to announce tonight is that Jared will be playing a new character. Before we jump in with the lore reasons for that, those of you who are watching on Twitch and YouTube can see that obviously he's playing a new character because the overlay and artwork is different. For those of you who are listening to the podcast, don't worry. We're going to introduce the character organically. There'll be a full description, and you'll be able to come and see the artwork up on our ArtStation and Twitter accounts soon. But Jared will be playing a new character. We had a bit of a chat behind the scenes. Jared wasn't... What did you say, Jared? You said you weren't sort of like... You didn't feel like you were loving playing as
I liked playing him, but I made him too much of a bookworm, and he just was a bit too for me, a bit too like I just had. It was like I was going quiet on a lot of the conversation just because I didn't know how to respond as Crassus.
Yeah.
So like I was just having a bit of like and a bit of brain farts, I guess you could say, with him. And then
So we had a chat behind the scenes, and we'd always designed this campaign around the idea that when Big B's Glory of the Giants came out, if anyone wanted to change their character classes, they would be able to at the time, or update the characters and things like that. So it's actually worked out really well. I think at the time when we first started, we were expecting a few more subclasses to come out with Big B's. As it is, we only got the one. We'll talk a bit more about that subclass, and Jared will do an introduction of his character when that character comes into the story. But yeah, Jared was feeling like Crassus had another journey to tell as an NPC. So I'll handle Crassus from here on out, and Jared will be playing as his new character.
Well, I'm sure he'll still be a good asset for the Tempest Guild. So yeah, he'll be behind the scenes. Maybe if Griswold eventually reappears, giving him almost like an apprentice, I guess, or an aide.
I had something like that in mind. The other thing I thought that would be quite funny is as you guys walk down the main road, like in the theme of Baldur's Gate 3, you just find a mangled corpse lying on the side of the road as you cast Speak with Dead. You realize it's Crassus.
No,
like, what happened? I fell off the dragon.
And no one bothered to clean him up.
Yeah. Aww. Just left him there. No, so you will see more of Crassus. Crassus will still be in the world. He'll be doing his own thing. All right, that is all the announcements I had to share. Let's jump on into the session. I will do our recap, and we will jump straight into the adventure. The Tempest Adventuring Guild, a name now legendary across the lands of Nostea, has formed a brand new team. Lyra, Tetra, Niles, Nowthers, and Crassus have been sent to the nearby settlement of Laspire to locate the hill giant fort recently seen flying overhead in the nearby area. Teaming up with Harry, a travelling Harengon merchant, and Ember, a Firbolg Druid, the group have travelled deep into a cave network to locate and rescue the captured villagers from the town. With the assistance of Balthazar, a mage from Oxenfurt, the team were able to portal the villagers out of harm's way while they faced off against the cultists and their leader, a large white crystal Ganassus who was very similar in appearance to Tetra. With the threat now dealt with, at least for now, the group travelled with the villagers back to a small encampment before deciding to head into the town once again to try and disrupt the source of the constructs, slowly taking the town apart piece by piece. Before they could enter the gates, however, a shadow passed over them. A large green dragon landed in the field next to them, atop its back a rider dressed in a long green cloak. Yervith had heard the team's call for help and had made his way over to offer assistance. With Yervith now running distraction on the constructs, the team made their way through the town and, after navigating the various environmental dangers, arrived at the mouth of the giant obsidian and electrum sphere. Passing through a small opening, the team arrived into the inside of the sphere, a confusing network of gears, springs, and moving parts, seemingly bound by its own internal gravity. Harry decided to help himself to one of the crystals that was powering the sphere, but after he found himself unable to grab it himself, decided to shoot it with an arrow. This caused the crystal to detonate, damaging the entire party heavily and knocking Harry down to 0, incurring minor brain injuries as a result of his unlucky constitution save. Once the party had healed Harry enough to stumble, they navigated through the now defunct section of the sphere and reached the central core. Finding themselves once again projected into the realm of the mind, the team conversed with the construct that was running the sphere. They learned that this construct was no longer in control, the emergency protocols having been activated a few days prior, causing the sphere to activate and start producing constructs, taking down and tearing apart the nearby village. After disabling the emergency protocols, the team were able to power down the sphere once more. Its final protocol, the final command given, to reassemble the town as best it can from one of its blueprints that's stored inside. With the group now back in the real world, once again in their own bodies, they said farewell to Nowthers, Tetra, and Crassus, who had decided to travel back to Oxenfurt with Yervith on Dragonback to report what they had learned, continue their research, and hopefully come up with some answers about the strange items that have been implanted into their hands. We left off last session with Harry, Ember, Lyra, and Niles wandering around the nearby village ruins. Most of the houses around the outer sections of the village are fairly intact, the inner portions having been mostly deconstructed. Since you were last here, there has been a lot more deconstruction occurring. Most of the townhouses within the inner ring are completely gone, the earth now flattened in its place. The number of ant and spider constructs moving around the place has increased dramatically. But with the sphere now in the process of powering down, you watch as these constructs no longer begin dismantling, but instead begin heading into the sphere, removing raw materials, taking them back outside again, and redesigning some of the existing homes to look a little bit different in architecture to what you've seen before. The stone that they produce from this bizarre, I'm going to call it for your information, a matter printer almost. You watch as this section of the sphere opens up to reveal a large conveyor belt-like device which slowly starts spitting out these massive marble rectangles. They're massive marble bricks about 2 meters long and about 1 meter tall, about 30 centimeters thick, as it begins converting the energy within it into matter. That the constructs then begin moving and recreating the design from inside the blueprints. There's my first cough for the night. I think I caught that one just in time. As you all begin heading back out of the sphere, you can see that the town is quiet. If there were any survivors that you missed during your first pass through, they've either hidden themselves extremely well, managed to escape, or were taken by the constructs that had become more and more aggressive as time went on. The fissure in the center of the town that was delving deep into the ground, you watch as a number of constructs begin filling that fissure in, covering it over, making a new town square with a fountain on top. A fountain glowing softly with this radiant light. The waters illuminated different colors as they emerge from the mouths of very large serpent-like statues. As you make your way over to one of the less destroyed buildings and have a bit of a chance to sit down and rest and relax, all of you may level up to level 5.
Hey.
Nice.
So, while I know that someone has spoken to me about a little thing we need to discuss for the level 5 update. So while all of you go through and just finalize the rest of the changes to your character sheet, Dave, during the last session, Harry's concussion, his minor traumatic brain injury as a result of the exploding gem.
Emphasis on minor.
Minor.
Emphasis on minor.
Yeah. Kind of took you out of action for most of that last session, and Ember had been keeping an eye on you in the main hallway, the main antechamber inside the sphere, while the others battled the emergency protocols. Harry, we're going to actually jump back a little bit in time for you from your perspective. Your memories are now starting to come back. The sudden concussive force that exploded out of this gemstone kind of scrambles your memories a little bit, and so you've spent the last probably hour unsure of what is real and what is not. Lyra, I see you've written something very interesting in chat. Do you want to say that out loud? This might be very pertinent before I start this conversation with Dave.
So last session, while Dave had sort of his arm falling off and we were afraid his brain was going to melt, where Lyra was sort of talking to herself, she's like, yes, I think I might be able to have a spell that can help out with that. And so with the level up, she's picked up Lesser Restoration, and she anticipates to cast it on Harry willing to fix up that minor brain injury.
Perfect. At the end of the long rest, when you have finished communing with the spirits of nature and finished reminiscing on your fight and learning new things, you can absolutely cast Lesser Restoration. That will remove the minor traumatic brain injury from Harry. Alrighty. Harry, let's go back to you just for 2 seconds. In the moment the crystal detonated as a result of your, I'm going to say errant arrow, took the crystal out, A sudden
Well
surge.
placed, Arrow.
Well placed, Ari. A sudden surge of power slammed into your body, but also into your implant. As the closest person to the source of this energy, your implant burned with this sudden heat, and for a moment your vision went black. These are your memories as they now return to you. You find yourself standing upon a lake, stretching out before you in all directions, inky darkness below, reflected in the sky above, a starless night sky, black. Beneath you, tentacles of roiling shadow twist and undulate, but the surface remains calm, untouched by the chaos beneath. A voice emanates from the darkness. Entity detected.
Harry pinches himself.
You feel a sudden pinch as you pinch yourself. You do not awaken.
I guess I'm an entity. How you going?
Status suboptimal.
Yeah, I mean, I got hit pretty hard, but like suboptimal's a bit mean.
Entity exists in corporeal plane of existence. Confirm.
I mean, I think it's corporeal. I mean, there was this time I was a stone giant, but the answer is yes.
There is requirement for physical interaction.
With the tentacles?
Will entity comply?
Harry looks around. He sees that the lake goes on, I assume, infinite.
Yeah, to your eyes, it seems to move into infinity. Do you want to make me a perception check, Harry?
Yep.
I might be able to describe what you see in more detail. One of my favorite things about describing eldritch horror kind of situations is the look of genuine fear that Ali gets on her face every time I start to dive into these moments. Nothing makes me happier than describing something like fundamentally, existentially terrifying and watching someone react like a normal human being, go, oh my god. Whereas Matt, on the flip side of the coin, sits there with a big smile on his face going, oh yes, more horror. 12, Harry.
Yep. Harry rolled a 5, but that's a +7. So
+7 for perception. You're a perceptive little bunny. It makes sense, right? As a prey animal.
yeah. That's why I think
Harry.
Expertise and perception.
They're not tentacles beneath you. At first glance, they looked like it, but it seems to be liquid. It's almost as if you're standing on a thin sheet of glass. Underneath you, a ferrofluid, this dark magnetic liquid, bubbles and moves, occasionally taking on shapes that press against the glass just for a moment and then disappear back inside. It seems like their activity is drawn around you. In fact, as you look at your feet, there's a pattern, a spiral of moving parts emanating from you underneath this thin sheet of glass, forming this intricate network of what almost to your eyes could be runes, moving and shifting.
Harry instinctively stomps his foot for danger.
Yeah, as you stomp your foot, a shockwave, a ripple emanates out from your central point, moving across the field, this time almost as if the glass sheet itself ripples with it. You feel yourself move up and then down subtly as the ground beneath your feet, this perfect circular ripple moves out from your point, disappearing out into the blackness beyond.
Is it you down there that I'm talking to?
There is
Who's
no
talking?
me. There is only us.
Oh, well, you're a hospitable fella, aren't you? Well, I mean, there's nothing else here that I can see, so Harry sits down.
Entity has suffered grievous wounds. Entity is dying. Entity wishes to remain active.
Wait, I'm dying? I mean, Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, I don't want to die. If I'm dying, is this heaven? Oh no, this is hell.
This is not one of the 7 layers of hells, nor is this the astral space. This is the place between.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, am I here forever, or like, is there a way out, or is this penance for the stuff I've done in my past?
We require corporeal assistance, entity in physical world. Who could be that entity? Could help us. We could help you.
I mean, yeah, that makes. I mean, what do you need help with?
Instructions will be provided.
Oh, you got any instructions now that I can? Like, you're not gonna like ask me to kill everyone that I live and care about, are you? Just checking.
No deaths are required at this time.
Yeah, at this time. What are my other options?
Death.
Oh, well, that sucks.
I think you summed it up quite well there.
And beached is. Yeah, okay, well, why not? Yeah, the name's Harrington the Harengon. Eat your service.
Harry. Entity has been named Harry. Hold still, Harry.
Okay.
With that, the glass beneath your feet shatters, and you drop into a cold abyss, the darkness pressing all around you. No feeling of wetness. This isn't liquid per se, this is something else, but the cold seeps in. And then suddenly, this burning heat from your hand, and as you look down, the implant glows brighter and brighter. And as the shadows whirl around it and begin moving inside, pulsing, you watch as the soft, gentle glow turns into this harsh, red, flickering light, before suddenly you come back to consciousness, having just been healed by, I think it was Lyra who healed you after the explosion of the gemstone. I think so. Yeah,
Yes.
I think it was Lyra. And then, but this memory had been lost to you. As you take your long rest, this memory returns. As you're sitting there, looking down at your implant, you watch as the glow suddenly shifts and fades, that harsh red, blinking light coming back on. And you hear a voice in your head. Find power source nearby. Connect to it.
Yeah, like, what would it look like? I guess that's Harry's mind talking back as opposed to saying out loud.
Image suddenly forms in your mind. It looks like a gemstone, not too dissimilar from the one inside the sphere, but this one is stuck inside it. You can see a mental projection. One of the spiders has pulled this free of the heart of the dragon construct, but the spider has damaged itself and now lies inoperative on the ground, probably maybe 80, 90 meters away from where you are now. You recognize the location. It's very similar to it's actually the dragon's wing that you walked up to get to the sphere. It's that dragon construct. The gemstone has been pulled from it to be recycled. It's not that far away.
Yeah, Harry rolled a 15 on stealth to just disappear from the group and go pick it up.
Yeah, do you want to make me a stealth check? You've already made it 15.
Yeah, I did. It was 15.
Anyone's
I would
passive
probably be keeping
perception.
an eye on him.
Is anyone's passive perception higher than 15?
Mine is 15. So
Yours is. So you do. So you watch as Harry like looks around and then just slowly makes his way into the town.
16, Lyra follows.
Perfect. Are you trying to stay hidden as well?
No, she's probably like yelling out after him. Like the guy's just had a brain injury. She's like, Harry, get back here, get back here.
That's a good point, actually.
Where's he going? Lyra? Harry?
Ember, you
Come
took
on.
no damage in the last fight, so you're probably at this point just like chilling like a villain. Underneath the chest that you're currently seated on is a small unbroken bottle of quite nice fire wine brandy. You can have a sip. It's really good. Just having a great time. As the others catch up to you quite quickly, Harry, what do you do?
Harry's actually sprinting, so he's using his bonus action dash, his action dash, and his movement, so they cannot catch up.
What is your movement speed when you dash?
I don't know about that.
Oh, actually, yeah.
I don't know about that, Harry.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you get bonus action dash as well. What is my movement? What does it say?
Yeah, this is great.
It's pretty fun.
30 feet, so I'd be moving 90 feet per turn.
Yep.
Goodness me. Niles, what is your...
Well, I'm 40 feet, but so I can. What can I do? We talked about this before. I can dash to 80 feet a turn, but if I use Step of the Wind,
I think you can go 120.
Yeah. So I can probably close. If I burn 2 key points right now, I can close. I can close the distance.
Is this
I guess the
before or after
thing-
the long rest?
This is
the thing,
before.
yeah.
This is
Well, this is
before.
technically this is during the long rest, I should say.
You get them back on a short rest, though, don't you, Matt?
I do. Yeah. So I can get-
You should have
I'll-
more than enough time to get them back.
For sure. Yeah. No, I'll use them because I want to catch.
Yes!
I want to catch Harry.
Yeah. Harry.
As I see Harry like running, like booking it, I'm like, Harry, where do you think you're going? Are you okay? And like he gets faster, and so I try to keep pace. So I'm like, what's the rush? What's going on? What's going on?
You'd be
eventually
flying
get-
at this stage if you're...
Yeah, I'm basically like gliding after him.
How far away did you say the power source was?
I said about 80 meters, so that's what, 120, 100... No, it's a bit more than that, isn't it? It's about 160 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll take me about 2 turns.
260 feet.
I
Sorry.
just keep calling.
Oh,
him,
wow. That's a
trying
lot
to get you
more.
to-
Yeah, it's a bit
like-
more.
Yeah.
It's like 3 turns.
Yeah.
To get there.
I'd say it's probably about 200
How bad
feet.
is my brain injury? Can I talk right now?
Yeah.
Have you
So the minor traumatic brain injury, it's only afflicted some very specific things on you. Let me just quickly pull them open again.
Has Lyra done her thing yet, or no?
Hang on, we
not yet.
wrote it
No,
down.
that'd be
Just
after
quickly
long rest,
find it.
technically.
After long, yeah.
Here is concussive disadvantage in intelligence, wisdom, charisma checks, and constitution checks.
Yep.
And concentration.
Yep.
Injury will self-resolve after 3 weeks on moderately powerful magic. Yeah.
Moderately powerful.
Lesser restoration.
Yeah. There's something over there near the dragon I want to look at.
What's the hurry? Like Niles says, and he's like flying after you. We can just walk. Where's
From
the
Ember's
hurry?
perspective, you watch as everyone suddenly dashes out without saying anything to
I was
you.
gonna say, my perception is I didn't even notice, and people just started sprinting in the direction. So I'm just left like, what the fuck is going on?
You're like turned around the other way. You're
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
where do I go?
You come up from the cellar with a few bottles of wine that you've salvaged. Look around, everyone's gone. Yeah, I like that. That's funny. Harry, after 2 turns, you get up to the dragon. You can see the spider construct with the gemstone in its pincers, half buried in the top of this little mound of earth, having broken apart and disabled. 2 ants appear to have like climbed up next to it, 2 of the ant constructs, but they're more interested in the dragon construct itself. They're currently dismantling its tail. As you get up to the gemstone, Niles flying alongside with you, Lyra kind of like running to keep up behind. The gemstone's just sitting right there, softly glowing with this faint blue light.
Yeah,
Are you-
that gemstone. It was in my dreams.
What is it with you and gemstones at the moment, lad?
Especially after the last one, like, did this to ya?
Yeah, exactly. Not to mention knocked me off my perch.
Nice.
Yeah, but But this one was in my dreams. The other one wasn't. The other one was
Well, I mean, actually, no, that's true. That was a real gem that we saw, but the whole other sequence after that wasn't. That was a rather interesting thing that we haven't really had a lot of time to debrief about, actually. But in any case, you saw this in your dreams. Are you sure, Harry? What's it all about? Tell us what this gemstone can do. Then, if that's the case. Do you know?
No, but yeah, I don't know. Do you want to have a look at it?
Me?
I won't shoot it.
Why don't we take the gem back to the camp with us? I've got some magic, Harry, that I'll be able to cast after a good night's rest. It'll patch you right back up again, get you thinking back to your old self, and then maybe you can decide why you're suddenly so obsessed with all these different gems.
That's a good idea.
I'll just grab this one first.
Great.
Sure.
As you reach down and touch the gemstone, Harry, there's a flash of light and a crack emanates from the gemstone. For a brief second, Niles and Lyra, you fear that this has just he's just done it again, essentially.
Niles is he cocked it last time. Niles just immediately just tries to block whatever it might be.
Harry opens his hand, you watch as the gemstone just begins disintegrating into fine crystalline powder. Harry, you feel a rush of warmth through you, and in your mind you hear the voice. Good. No other response.
Yeah, okay, I'm happy to go back now. And Harry just slowly walks back to the.
I just look at Lyra and I'm like, are you seeing this? What is happening?
Harry was good boy. Now he just becomes more and more psychotic. Apologies.
I feel like every session Harry becomes more like it's the slow man.
So Dave and I had a quick chat about his level up. As you guys make it back to camp and Ember's there, you will benefit from your long rest. I think we should start with really quick overview what you've gained as part of your level up. Harry, you've multi-classed. Would you like to share with the class what you have multi-classed into?
I have picked up a level of Warlock.
Oh, have you?
What?
Yes. Definitely not Sorcerer. And that wasn't a scroll that I just read. So, yes.
Wow.
So,
Dave messaged me saying you really wanted to pick up a level in Warlock, and so we had a bit of a chat behind the scenes, and we've come up with the perfect patron for him.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, it's obviously a giant rabbit.
Yeah,
exactly. Of course.
You know how much I like to involve the Warlock patrons in the campaign itself after Varys from the last one. So this is a completely different and new homebrew Warlock patron. But for the purposes of the level itself, your patron is the Hexblade Warlock. But this is a very, very different variation of it. Something hopefully really cool and new, which I will put up on the wiki for anyone to use if they want. So what did you get as part of your Warlock level up, Dave? What does Harry gain?
Well, so we're talking mechanically now. Harry gains a lot. He gains a bit of magic. Being a swashbuckler rogue as well, I just felt like he was a bit too squishy, so he had to hang in the background and use a hand crossbow, which defeats the purpose of being a swashbuckler. So Hexblade gives him proficiency in shields, medium armor, but that doesn't really help because he's in the awkward dexterity spot. But
you know what you can do with that? You can just choose whichever is better at the time. If you have a better medium armor,
it works out to be the same.
Or light armor,
AC 15.
But it depends. As you come across new armors, you'll be swapping them out. Probably you might change.
You'll be swapping between the two armors, whichever's best at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Anything that doesn't invoke a disadvantage from stealth, because he's still a rogue.
Yes.
But he can hold a shield. So when he can pick one of those up, that'll help, and he can do a bit more damage with a rapier. How do you pronounce
rapier?
Rapier.
Rapier.
So he can go swish bing with his
he can
sword.
Now you get cantrips as a warlock. Can I use my psychic powers? Did you pick up Eldritch Blast?
That one was a 50-50.
He took Booming Blade.
Ooh.
Yeah, I took Booming Blade, and I was
100%, because he's going to stab them,
considering-
he's going to leave, then they have to move and get hit.
Yeah.
So that's smart.
That's one. Eldritch Blast. It was a tough one between Eldritch Blast and was it Green Flame?
Yeah, Green Flame Blade's
yeah,
quite
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
which would
I
help,
think
but-
for me,
It's one of
I
Ali's
either choose Green
One or the
Flame
other.
or Booming Blade, one or the other. I
You probably won't
double
be using
dip.
both.
Yeah, so I ended up Booming Blade because again with the Swashbuckler I can hit
Fancy
and move away
footwork
without,
gets you out of the
It's
way.
nice.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
Good move.
and Eldritch Blast because it helps.
Yeah,
Awesome.
look,
to not-
it helps. It's
Yeah.
good to give you a good range.
yeah.
Very
But
nice.
he's still gonna hold his hand crossbow because he likes the gunsling. and all
I'm
that.
Yeah,
so
no.
intrigued now.
Fair enough.
Is this just a little dip in Warlock, or are you planning a big?
It's
big,
not just a
big
little
one?
dip.
Oh, who knows?
I mean,
We'll see.
I love min maxing, so there'll be a sufficient dip into a Warlock.
At least level
Okay.
2.
We've
Yeah,
had a chat about it,
implications.
and there's going to be some narrative influence. If Dave's really enjoying the patron stuff, he might go a bit further than originally planned. If he's
That's cool.
wanting to sort of, if he finds that Harry's sort of going, hey, I've just become the rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and I'm now no longer ethically comfortable with that. He might cease his warlocking.
Oh, but no, Harry's so psychotic at the moment.
I mean,
Right
Harry's
back.
already.
Well, I mean, you guys never know if Harry wasn't psychotic to begin with.
That's true.
Fair.
That's a good point.
point.
Well, he's just
Uh,
psychotic again, but there's little bits coming up that are
I mean-
questionable.
What did you get for your level 5?
Me.
Yeah.
Oh well, funny you should ask that, because I, little old Niles over here at level 5, got access to some cool stuff. So with his monk level up anyway, he got his stunning strike, which is a classic monk staple with his with his keys.
And a DM's
Um,
worst enemy.
Yeah. What else did I get? I got some other stuff. Oh no, it was just the 5. I got the extra attack, so that's great for me. Very, very good for a
Do your
monk.
fists count as magical yet, or is that level 6?
That is going to be level 6.
It is level 6,
Gear
yeah.
powered strike. So
Yeah.
not just yet. I
That's
did get
nice,
I did get a random bonus action as well, which is just focused aim, which is another burn of my key points if needed, basically to turn this into a hit, depending. Which could be useful in a
Yeah,
situation.
no,
where I
that
need to
sounds
use
awesome.
them. But yeah, pretty much just those 3.
Very
Which is really
nice.
nice. And then at level 6, I get a bit more as well.
Oh, yeah.
for my
That's where the good stuff comes
that'll
in.
that'll be good.
Ali, what does Lyra get for level 5 as a druid?
She's picked up a few more of the more spory mycelium-based magic. So she's learnt Wither and Bloom.
Yes, I love the
She picked up Gaseous Cloud. I think it's Gaseous Cloud.
Yeah.
I love that
Yep.
aiming. It's good.
And she thinks she may have found a way to bring the dead back to life.
Hey, fantastic.
What kind of life that is,
nice.
she's not entirely sure.
Oh, are you
The-
going like the cordyceps like route? Oh, fuck yeah, that's
Yeah.
sick. That's really cool.
I like how the Fey fungus has taken on a really dark turn now with Lyra's level ups. Simon, Ember gets some cool things as a level 5 way of fire
Yeah,
druid
I
as
get a-
well.
Couple of spells. So the ones that I can see so far is Revivify. So that probably would have been a little bit handy for Harry last time.
Well, actually,
but,
Revivify is even better. Harry hadn't started failing death saves. Revivify
That's true.
comes in when the character has died, when they've actually failed
Yeah.
their death saves. You can
there
just
you go.
bring them back. Revivify is an amazing spell,
very good.
Just got to get the material for it.
the
which
diamond.
is a 500 GP diamond, I
Yeah,
think, from
very
memory.
expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's got a
Yeah,
material
yeah, yeah.
component and an expensive one. So you guys are going to be on the hunt for some
Yeah,
diamonds.
so we actually have to get that diamond, yep.
Yeah,
But
well,
when we have it, it's good. It's really good.
Gotcha.
is there like a rule with material costs? Because I know like if it's usually quite expensive, like Revivify, it's usually one something that we have to find. If it's something small that can be used with an arcane focus, that's not really like we don't
Exactly.
really
So the
worry
way
about
I
that.
kind of work it is that for any of the big items, you will need to hunt them down and purchase them. For any of the small items, like a pinch of ash or things like that,
Yeah.
whenever the spellcasters arrive in a town that would have this sort of stuff available, if you are happy to chuck, I've got like a little breakdown, but essentially it's like a gold piece to refill your spellcasting pouch, your component pouch, and then for the warriors, it's to refill their arrows and things like that, and maybe get their swords sharpened, armor dents removed, things like that. So just like general upkeep that you might need as an adventurer. Yeah, just to sort of speed that process up a bit, so you're not like walking town going, "Hey, I need 6 spiders. Do you have any spiders for sale?" Yeah, just to save some time.
Amazing. No, that's cool.
Awesome, and yeah, I get that, and plant growth, which I'm going to be using a fair bit with spike growth, I think. So, should be fun.
That's interesting.
Plant growth. The plants can be set on fire.
Very interesting. And I was just trying to read through it, so it doesn't make it difficult terrain, though, does it? So that is...
Plant growth does make it difficult terrain, I'm pretty sure.
I think it does make it difficult.
Yeah, so spike growth hurts them, but plant growth, there's 2 different things you can do. Actually, sorry, I remember now. Plant growth, there's 2 different things you can do. One of them is to make an area incredibly difficult terrain, i.e. they have to spend 4 feet of movement for every 1 feet that they move, which is ridiculous. And the other one is that over 8 hours you enrich the land, and all plants within a half-mile radius become enriched for 1 year. They produce twice the amount of food as normal for a whole year, as you spend 8 hours casting this. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's actually nuts.
It's got like good usability.
Imagine just rolling into like a farm town and just being like, "Hey,
Pay me the money."
Yeah.
Damn, you could charge some crazy hourly rates on that one, man. Like 8 hours a day.
I'll help them rebuild. Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
It's not a bad one at all. So no, there's some good stuff you get as a wildfire druid. As you finish your long rest, Jared, we're going to quickly jump over to your character for a moment.
Perfect.
For the past, how many days would you like to have been traveling from your enclave to the north? Probably you've been on the road for at least a week. Probably more than actually for you to have, even if you came straight here.
I honestly think that he'd sometimes just get lost in his own, like, sort of like when he's out in the wilderness, he just loses track of time. So he's actually probably been out there for a lot longer. He just doesn't realize yet. He probably thinks it's a week.
Yeah. So you've been traveling on the road for some time since you left your Goliath stronghold far to the north. The implant that had embedded itself into the back of your hand, marking you for a destiny, marking you for a purpose. In your travels, you have seen signs of the giant's return. News has traveled slowly up to your isolated community, but outside and now on the continent of Oceania, the news is all anyone can talk about. The giants, your ancestors, have returned. And a hill giant fort, only a few days south of your current location, was seen fairly recently. Not the giants you're looking for, but maybe ones who could point you in the right direction. Your trek towards the south has been fairly uneventful. An ambush in the night by some goblins and wargs dealt with fairly quickly. An annoyance.
I had a lot of fun there for sure. No, that was not an annoyance, that was fun.
That was pleasurable. A welcome distraction from the boredom of the road. And as you arrive...
For anyone that would have been near it, all they would have heard was this excited, almost like just this really loud cacophony of just pure enjoyment and excitement.
That's fucked up, dude. I'm
it would have been so loud too.
I'm just calling it now. This party is heading down some strange avenues.
Yeah, no, when I heard that Harry was getting a little bit more psychotic, I was a bit happier because this character isn't psychotic, but he's definitely unpredictable.
Yeah, this is great. This is so good. Keep this up.
As you arrive at the northern gates of the town, you can see that clearly something has happened here. The town is in ruins. Strange clockwork creations are moving through the town, slowly rebuilding it. Surely these must be the work of your ancestors. Their form, their function, similar to some of the ancient relics that your people have been keeping secret and safe for generations in your enclave far to the north. As you move through the town, the enormous sphere that is now half buried in the earth resembles very closely the sacred sanctum that the matriarchs of your tribe have watched over. A site so holy that you have not been allowed inside of it until the day that you received the strange runic implant in your hand. There appears to be no sign of life at first glance as you move through the streets. Before too long, your keen hearing picks up the sound of voices coming from a nearby townhouse. And as you move through the streets and step up towards the open doorway, you see 4 figures seated inside. Would you like to describe?
Perfect! Oh, this should be fun! As you hear the clacking of my steel on my of the axe on the ground.
Would you like to describe your character as I put the artwork for Threign up on screen?
I'm terrified already. What the heck?
So he's first things first. The first thing you see is this 8'1.5" tall Goliath. So Goliaths in this world.
Yeah, I should do a bit of a quick things about Goliath. So we've actually done a little bit of a change with Goliaths. No longer are Goliaths the grey skin tattooed figures that they are in the normal player's handbook. I've actually adjusted them slightly. Goliaths now look like each of the giant clans. The stone giant Goliaths look like the normal Goliaths you're used to, the bald, stony skin, but the Goliaths also can resemble fire giants, cloud giants, storm giants, or frost giants.
That's the one. So, you see this massive man, this hulk of flesh covered in scars. He's only really got his forearm and his face showing, but they're just covered in scars. And the skin itself, glistening over it, there's this sheen of almost looks like frost or ice. It doesn't it looks like it just in the sun, it glints every now and again, but and it moves and shifts. But otherwise, he's actually quite just sort of fair. Has a braided beard that's white, has sort of rough long hair that's also white. He has these piercing blue eyes that show his ancestry, I guess.
Yeah.
And as you see him, he has a massive smile on his face. And he's brandishing his great axe.
Yeah, a massive two-handed great axe that he's sort of holding just casually over one shoulder. This thing must weigh... we're talking 80 kilos, and he just hefts it over one shoulder like it's nothing. Massive. We should also add a massive bear skin cloak draped around your shoulders and hanging down, well worn by years of travel.
Yes.
Fuck.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think
that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good one.
Oh, I should also say
runic
have
belt.
That
awesome. Yeah, the belt.
A large stone, almost a stone circle, 30 centimeters in diameter, that's been strapped to him like a belt, embedded over embedded into the belt with leather straps and with cord that is glowing with giant runes, very softly and faintly. Even as he steps into the shadow, you can see the runes carved into it very softly glow. This circle of runic symbols, clearly giant origin. I would say anyone with a perception of 15 or higher, he's hacked this off something and attached it to himself as a belt. This, or it's been carefully removed and created. But this is not something that the Goliaths have created. This has been salvaged and repurposed from giant technology.
Hell yes. Wow. But no, perfect. Oh, there's only been these these machines, these contraptions. It's very good to see actual people.
Ah! Who are you?
Oh. I actually start running at the party.
Niles jumps on the table and just takes up a defensive move with his hands. What are you?
Harry with a stealth of 28. You're just gone. The cellar that Ember had raided for wine suddenly looks really inviting, and you just disappear down the hatch like a rabbit in his burrow, just gone.
Yeah.
You're
muted,
fun.
Dave.
And I point at Niles and I throw my axe to the side and brandish my fists. as I go to strike at our friend Niles.
Are you gonna punch him? Is this what's happening?
Oh
right
no,
now?
I wanna look for a bit of fun.
Oh fuck! At this point, Niles doesn't even know if this guy's like a friend or a foe, so he's just gonna try and.
I'll have you both roll initiative.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to roll initiative is more than welcome to. If this is the approach you're going for, Jared, be prepared that this might not end well for you. Remember, you have a murder bunny hiding in the cellar.
It's fine. I've realized that this character's probably going to go down a lot, so it's fine. But it's
just
going to be
keep
fun.
in mind though that this is your first introduction. If Harry takes you down and the group decide this guy's fucked, let's not bring him back. You're just.
It's all right. No stress.
Cool.
I threw my axe away, so I'm not going in for the kill.
Okay, it's Harry who needs to understand that, and that's the bit I'm concerned about.
That's fine. No issues.
That's great. So
oh my goodness! All right, let me quickly.
Perfect. Let's have a little bout, shall we?
Just to clarify, this is
only
the
looking at
start
Niles,
of the
I'm
long
not
rest.
including anyone else.
This is the end of the long rest. You've had your long rest. You have all leveled up. I've just realised I don't have a
any
token
damage we
for
do
breathe,
is.
so I will quickly make that as well.
Sticking
Probably-
around.
Sticking around, yes.
It's fine. I don't mind. I'm willing to take all downsides.
what the fuck is happening?
This is a unique approach.
Oh my god! All right.
Ember,
Well,
I'll just quickly add. Did you roll initiative to Ember? Yeah, I'll just quickly add you in as well.
I did.
Ember. This is gonna be
this
fun.
is just after the long rest, so I can.
This is after the long rest is completed. You have all finished your long rests. Alrighty. Well, Harry's going first with a natural 20 for a grand total of 30.
30.
Jesus.
Unbelievable.
What was Jared's initiative?
14.
14.
Ah, okay, yep. Okay. Harry will come up from the cellar. How do you pronounce your character?
Threign.
Threign. Threign's fully swinging this axe at Niles.
No.
No,
I threw the
fist.
axe aside,
He chucks the
and
axe
I
to
got
the
my fist
ground.
out. Yeah.
Okay. Harry jumps up and puts the pointy end of his rapier right against the back of Threin's neck. And I guess he gets rid of his stealth to do this. And he's like, he says very carefully in Threin's ear, "Not another inch, or this goes through the back of your throat."
Perfect.
I'm going to say as a reaction, Threign, if you wanted to respond, you are welcome to. Because it sounds like Harry's holding his action for you to respond before he stabs you. I'm guessing that if I go to everyone here, the response is going to be, we hold our action until Threign acts. Would that be correct? No, Lyra's got a plan. Okay, we will continue with initiative then. Harry, I'm going to assume you're holding your action
you
to
guys don't have to
stab
fight
him.
me. You can do whatever you want. You can try and restrain me. I don't care. You can fight me. I don't care.
I mean, I'm just reacting like I would any hostile enemy. Like this is just like a what the fuck? Like
No,
So-
this is the same thing. This is the same thing Harry did to the was it the dwarf?
The
It was
dwarves.
dwarf the other week.
Yeah.
Harry
went so
Harry doesn't
well.
want to kill people. Unless-
Insight check.
inside check.
He doesn't want to, but if he has to, he's going to do it right.
So, Harry, I'm going to assume you hold your action. If Threign doesn't comply, you stab him through the throat. Is that
If he doesn't, I'm going to use my cantrip. So yep.
Booming Blade? All right. Ember. So Harry's holding his action. Ember, what would you like to do?
I've been drinking on my long rest because I've been raiding this cellar. So I'm going to open up and just wondering. I'm seeing Harry with a sword pointed to some dude's thing, still holding a bottle of wine, and I'm assuming I would have heard Harry say,
Yeah. Everyone hears Harry.
So I'm going to do the cantrip produce flame. I'm going to just hold that for the moment, and I've got the bottle of wine.
Nice.
And I'm going to see if this new guy makes any moves. Otherwise, I'm going to be throwing a Molotov cocktail at this guy.
I'm pleased this isn't escalating. Thank goodness. I was really
Not
worried
at
for
all.
that.
Not at all.
Niles, I'm assuming you've got higher dex than the strength-based barbarian.
I have +5. my dex.
Yeah, no, he goes first.
Oh,
I go
Lyra,
first.
what was your 18? Lyra, you're next. Why are you on there as a 6? Sorry.
I didn't click my turn tracker. Oh, I didn't click my character.
Ah,
That
yes.
would do it.
So that'd be an
Lyra,
old one.
what would you like to do?
Seeing that Threign has sort of seems to be targeting Niles, and assuming sort of Lyra is within touching distance of Niles, she sort of goes, "Hey Niles, just go with this." Touches him on the shoulder and
True.
face steps him 30 feet in whatever safe direction is away from Threign. And be like,
You could face step him out the window because it's a place you can see, right?
Yeah.
You just so like on the other side of the glass, Niles is suddenly pressed up against the back window, looking in.
all right, hey man, are you here to kill us? I mean, we just got done doing a lot of fighting. We're all really tired. You don't want to fight us. There's more of us than there are you. What's the deal?
Oh, but that's fun. That's the fun of it, is not? Oh, I've just been so bored. Oh, these metal things just aren't fun. Oh, but this
You
thing
better look at
behind
this
me.
string, man.
This thing behind me, and then you see a smile creep across his face. This intrigues me.
Is that to Barry, the
Guy out
little
the
bunny?
window.
Yeah, talking about Barry. I can't
Okay.
see him.
Oh, you're talking about Harry. Okay.
Right. I called you Barry. That's funny. That's flashbacks from Barry the Goblin. This is a very Barry the Goblin thing to do, I just want to say. If you make a new character, Dave, you've run out of Ari names. What are you going to call it?
Carrie.
Fuck. You're too good. Yep, that's fair. I walked right into that one.
Yep.
Anything else?
I guess she ends it off with, if you want to fight, why don't we set something up at a better time and place, when we're actually interested in fighting. I mean, you can come with us. I mean, we do a lot of fighting. I'm sure you'd get your fill. Like, just sort of, trying to tell them what she thinks.
As I see Lyra in front of me waving her arms around, I take it that I would see something on her wrist.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this
You
is the
see
thing. This
the
is why I
glint.
plan to be so aggressive, because I knew I wouldn't be in combat for very long the moment I saw
Yeah.
one of those things.
Nice.
So I nonchalantly. So I guess if that's her turn, that's probably my turn anyway. Oh well, Niles.
I'd say that was
He's
Lyra's turn. Now it's
outside.
Niles' turn. Niles is now outside the window looking in. Suddenly, Niles, you were ready to go, and then suddenly you're outside. Like you're like a bird pressed up against the glass window, looking in.
I'm like picking against the glass. Come on, what's going on?
So I nonchalantly just walk away out of like Harry's out of his like range, and I don't even acknowledge him.
The
And he's
question
threat.
is, Harry, you did say don't move 1 inch. Are you going to activate booming blades?
Because I will say, as I
Niles
move
is out of range.
as Lyra's sitting there waving her arms about, I almost like go into. I just start walking nonchalantly up to him and go, "Well, this is most interesting. That on your hand." And then I'll walk out of Harry's range. So it's up to him if he wants to attack.
Harry stepped. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Yeah, Harry sheaths his rapier.
Well, what's
And
this?
Harry goes opens the window for Niles.
Yeah, could you open the door for me? Knock, knock. Hello?
There's a back door right next to the window. As you unlatch the door and open it, Niles is just sort of standing there.
No. It has to be the window. I open
Okay.
the window.
Okay.
No, I don't go anywhere near the door.
But no, I see the stone on Lyra's. How did you come across this? I don't even ask. I was about to be polite and say, "Do you mind if I look?" I'm not polite. I'm very upfront.
It exploded in the tavern just down there, and then somehow it came into our hands, and then it did some weird stuff, and they're slightly magnetic. Watch this, and then she just
Wait,
sort of does
no,
the
I know
magnet.
what these are. I have one myself, and I show my hand.
Did you touch
But-
a giant artifact? as
No,
well?
no,
How
this
did-
was given to me.
Oh, how was it
Dude.
given to you? What?
You know how to use it.
Actually, that's a good question. Now, do I know how to use it?
No, you've got no idea. You don't even 100% know Threign what this is. You know what you've been told. The matriarchs told you this was a blessing, that this was a sign that you were chosen to go forth and find the lost frost giants, your ancestors. You've experienced 2 visions already. And you were told that you might experience memories by the matriarchs. You have experienced 2 sets of memories. Each time you presume as one of your ancestors from your own bloodline.
Gotcha. I do look at her plainly. Well, I've seen some things through it. What have you all experienced?
Oh, that's rather curious. Yeah, I turn around and look at my companions, and I'm just kind of like, should we trust this guy? But I don't say that. I'm kind of giving them that knowingly,
Now that you know what to look for, Threign, you can see all of them have the same implant.
So I see that you're all chosen then.
Oh, well, that's not quite how
I mean, I did think that it wasn't really given out to others. So to see you all with it.
The only other thing I have for Threign's benefit, Ember is a Firbolg. The Goliaths and the Firbolgs kind of see each other as cousins. For Threign,
I'm going to walk up.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too much of a surprise. In your mind, this is a blessing of the giants. For another giant kin to receive it, that's fine. But for the others to receive it, that's the surprising thing. Ember having one, that's less surprising because
cool. I'm just gonna go with that, and I'm gonna pretend that he gave them all some. I'm gonna go up to Ember. Do you know that giving these away to others, well, that is most dishonorable. So what have you done?
I haven't actually given anything away. I kind of found this myself, and they found them before I even met them. So a little bit hazy on the details about how they all got them, but yeah, we've run into each other on the road. So where did you get your one from? Was it gifted to you?
That it was, my tribe, my clan. But the question I have, you haven't tried to extract them from them? They should not be with them.
Actually, we haven't really stopped since I've met them, have we, Owlin? It's been essentially a battle the whole time.
Go,
You've been busy.
This is the first downtime we've actually had, with you in the party. Yeah.
So, I haven't even tried to remove mine yet. I've only had mine for a couple days at this point.
So you were not given it to you by your elders?
No, definitely not. This is something new I've discovered on my journeys. Do you know much about them?
What was that last bit?
Do you know much about them?
There is
Not
some
really,
things. There are some things you would know, Threign. You were told that you had been chosen. So when the event happened, when you were near the giant tech and it activated and this implanted in your hand, you were told that you had been chosen, that the device, that the ancients had picked you for a task, that you might see through the eyes of your ancestors, you might experience things as they did, but it was your destiny and your duty to seek out and find your ancestors. So I would say it's not that seeing them in the others is an affront or an offense or an insult. It's just curious because you were told these things picked only the most worthy, and in your mind, really, I would say that probably you felt that you'd been picked because of your ancestry, because of your ancestral line. But I mean, that's a bird. Like, what? How was this bird picked? What? Yeah, exactly. Like it would be a little bit strange to you that non-giant folk would have been picked. There must be something about them. I mean, the devices can't be wrong, but it is a bit odd.
Look, this is all new territory to me. I did not realize that these are so easily accessible. So, I guess I've made a decision. I shall travel with you all, and I shall teach you how to use these properly. And, to be honest, and a massive smile crosses his face, only worthy people are given these, so you must be all worthy of something. I enjoy sparring with you all.
Can Harry scan his body for look around to see if there's a tattoo for the cult anywhere on him.
Oh yeah, the elemental. Yeah.
Mm.
And that's an insight check from Lyra, it looks like, as well. Harry, do you want to make a investigation or perception check? Your choice, Lyra. Insight check.
Oh, I forgot to click.
I love the very gentle but deliberate way Gizmo goes, "Attention, please, Simon." For those of you who are listening to the podcast, Simon's gorgeous Legato is, keen for some affection and attention. Natural 1, Lyra, for your insight check. Man, you're a bit flustered. This giant smashed his way through into your resting space, threatened your bird. You quickly got the bird outside, but now this Goliath is up in your face. He's like looked at your hand. He was going to fight you. Now he's not. There's a lot going on. Like, your ability to read this individual, at the moment, you've got no idea whether this person is a threat, is genuine. You don't know. Harry, perception of 22. No tattoos that resemble the elemental symbol that you saw, the mix of the 4 elements. In fact, I don't think Threign has any tattoos. Is that correct, Jared?
I haven't put tattoos on him, so I think he's just covered in numerous and different scars.
Yeah, I'm going to rule that it's a stone giant thing to tattoo the intricate designs across your skin, whereas for the frost giants, it's less about the tattoo. Like the story that you tell with battle scars and tales, rather than tattoos. It's more about the epic tales and the physical scars that you can show, or the loot that you might have acquired on your raid to show your prowess. So yeah, actually, there's no tattoos at all on Threin's body. The one thing I will say with a 22, Harry, Threin's axe that he has thrown away and tossed in the corner, that light coating of frost, there is still some of that on the blade, almost like this very fine spiderwork of ice. Niles, perception.
Harry tries to pick it up.
Yeah,
you got to try to pick up the axe. What's your strength?
Not. I saw it.
That's just like, God, he's going to keep sparring me. I need to get ready to fight him.
No, well, I think at this point, so Niles, like, he is a martial artist first and foremost, right?
Yeah, so you'd be able to size up an opponent.
Yeah, like, so once the initial, like, surprise is sort of done, Niles probably just looks you up and down more so now as, like, a fighter. Like, he kind of starts to sum you up, like, looks like I guess takes the time to, like, look at your physique and, like, you know, can obviously sort of see that you're definitely big and tall and strong, and he's sort of just evaluating that at this point.
Big and tall and strong sums up Threign quite well.
I will say, with the rage, there's something that will happen. So you probably, because you got a pretty high perception, I think I would... 19. There'd be like this, like almost like this light frost in the air that sort of is always around me.
Cool.
I love the idea of every time you breathe out, your breath kind of... you almost have like that kind of like crystallization that... cool. Yeah, every time you breathe out, this sort of like... Yeah, the breath of frost. I'd say that kind of makes sense.
I'd say also with the 19 as well, I think Niles is probably also, because, I mean, way of sympathy, right? He's all about, like, trying to understand how people and his enemies potentially work. So that's kind of, like, plays into that as well. Sort of analyzes your physique and your fighting spirit.
This is a very strong warrior, Goliath warrior. I'd say with your perception of 19, Niles, clearly Frost Giant Goliath. Clearly this is a Goliath from the Frost Giant line. The scars that you see across his arms and up his neck, I mean, some look like weapon scars from axes, swords. Some look like from teeth or claws.
Tusks.
Tusks. Yeah. Like this is clearly a person who has grappled with, and for the claw marks to be that big, animals as big if not bigger than him. This is a fighter, a warrior.
Niles looks like, at first he was scared, but now the more he's sort of in the presence of this warrior, something about his like martial arts background sort of comes back into play a little bit, and you see Niles kind of relax a little bit, and he kind of looks up at Threign and goes, I haven't fought someone with your stature and your physique in quite a while, actually.
So, as we're speaking, I just walk over, pick my axe, and heft it on my shoulder. I look down at you, and I have never fought one of your kind either, bird. It's going to be fun sparring.
As you go to pick up your axe,
Harry's dangling off the axe.
yeah, as you go to pick up your
rabbits.
axe, there's a little rabbit hanging off it. Harry, what's your strength? Did you say?
It's 8.
8.
Negative
Yeah,
1.
you are unable to pick up this axe as you go to like try and heft it. It's so heavy, and then suddenly you feel this lurch, and as you're pulled up into the air, you're just hanging off the axe.
I haven't
For a split
seen-
moment,
I haven't seen
Harry
Harry
thinks he
yet.
lifted it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say I haven't seen Harry.
Yeah.
Ooh, I do like it when food comes to the dinner table. Perfect. All right. How should I cook this one up as I'm looking at everyone else?
There is one more perception check I should deal with first. Ember, what was your perception check for? 15.
It was more so because I was just sizing. You said it was a frost giant and everything like
Yeah.
that. I had like fire and warmth. It was just more just to suss him out to see if I actually am going to like this guy. If that makes sense.
I'd say at this point, like as a Firbolg, generally violence is not a first, second, or third option for Firbolgs. Normally, you tend to be quite.
Which is why when someone runs in and is violent, and then he's also frosty as opposed to fiery, it's very different to what I'm used to.
Oh,
So
and
it's
also
more
I
of
just
a-
walked up to you and just started like throwing accusations at you too. So
And then wandered
Exactly.
off.
started
right.
immediately
Yeah.
hostile, then immediately walked
I'd
off and didn't let
say-
you respond.
I'd say as a Firbolg, you see, your people, the Firbolgs kind of see the Goliaths as cousins. Out of all the races in Nostea, the Firbolgs and Goliaths trace their lineage back to the giants. There's not really any other races that can do that. And the Firbolgs tell tales that they were actually created by a Nam as well, the same as the giant clans. I mean, the Firbolgs see themselves as the quiet caretakers of the natural world, and Nam's hidden guardians to keep the world safe and in balance, while his much larger, more boisterous children, the giants, roam about and make a mess of things. The Goliaths are seen as your cousins. Like I'd say not cousins that you avoid and don't like, cousins that generally you get along with, but cousins that are different enough from you that Firbolgs and Goliaths generally don't spend huge amounts of times together. Both people have enclaves out in the hidden areas of the world that they have maintained and looked after for hundreds of thousands of years. The Goliaths sometimes will visit the Firbolg enclaves. The Firbolgs will sometimes visit Goliath enclaves and trade. Goliaths obviously don't do a lot of farming. There's not a lot of access to food in terms of vegetables. Meat, they will hunt on their own, whereas the Firbolgs generally don't do much hunting per se. And the Goliaths as well are quite gifted at accessing metals that they will sometimes, especially the stone glass, will mine metals from deep below the mountains. So there's mutual benefit in the two people trading. So this is definitely not your first Goliath you've met. It's definitely not even your first Frost Goliath that you've met. They generally are, especially the Frost Goliaths, they generally are quite loud, outspoken, very honorable though. There's a strict code of conduct that they follow, a strict code of ethics. It's not like a code of ethics we would necessarily recognize today, but it is a code of honor that they follow very closely. And there's a bit of a hierarchy amongst the Frost Giants, the Frost Giant Goliaths. You know that they generally adhere to a sort of loose hierarchy with their Jarl at the top of the clan, and then underneath him he'll often have 2 or 3 skalds, a sort of warrior bard that answer directly to the Jarl, as well as thanes, lesser nobles who operate underneath the Jarl. Sorry, that was a bit of a lore dump,
I guess
that's what Ember knows.
With that as well, with the honorable thing, that's probably one thing that you probably noticed in the fight was I cast away my axe at the start, almost like declaring this is more of a spar or a contest than an actual life or death combat.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to throw away my axe, not just start hacking into people, because that would be hard to come back from.
That would
You know, if I done
That's the line.
So that was my way of introducing myself in an aggressive manner without immediately everyone hating my character.
No, that's good.
Fair play.
You've picked up your axe. How are you holding it?
So I actually hefted it on my shoulder, and as I've seen you swing, that's when I see the rabbit on the end of it. So I'm gonna then bring you around. So then I'm holding my axe out in front of me, and then I bring out another hand axe and start getting that ready. Almost looks like and I'll probably put my axe somewhere down. I'll grab like a knife or something out and start sharpening
While
to make it look like I'm getting ready for dinner.
While you were holding the axe, can I do acrobatics check to try and because I'm dangling off it to try like hoist myself up on it to stand on it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
100%.
Then I want to try and that's an 8.
Harry,
no.
as you go to pull yourself up, the frost that coats the edge of this axe has actually frozen your hands to it, and so you get yourself up, and then as you go to climb onto it, you can't really unstick your fingers very well. There's a thin coating of frost, and as you slowly peel one hand off, you just drop and land on the floor.
I will say to diffuse this, as I saw the hand, because you'll see the ice sort of start doing that. That's when I would realize that this little rabbit also has a stone.
Yeah, because you can see the hand frozen in place, and as you look around the group, Threign, you can see that all of these people do. Everyone in this room has one of these giant stones embedded in their hand.
Okay, so not dinner that I first
He is wearing clothes. I would say that the Goliaths.
I just saw a rabbit and immediately thought dinner. I jumped to that conclusion very quickly without taking a good grasp of it. I just saw him swinging my axe. I thought dinner came to me. This is a great day.
Because I'm gonna go right out and say it that you know for a fact that Goliaths, their rule with hunting is non-sentient beings, general for food. For raiding, mainly sentient beings that you steal from. But in terms of killing deliberately, hunting for food, generally it's animals. Up towards the north, you've got things like dire bear and dire elk, much larger versions that are a true challenge for a warrior. There's none of this the hardest prey to hunt is man, because that's bullshit and we all know it. The Goliaths are very there is a very strict code of honor, especially amongst the Frost Goliaths, when it comes to the art of war and when it is appropriate to act in violence and when it is not. Very similar to Vikings in our world.
Niles just says, first of all, I'm not just a bird. I'm an owlin. Thank you very much. And
that was me who said that rather than Jared. That was his subconscious. That was Threign's subconscious.
Yeah, perfect.
And secondly, that isn't dinner. That is our esteemed friend, Harry the Harengon.
Yeah, I'm a merchant.
I can see that he has the stone on his hand, so there's some truth to what you speak. Interesting that you keep dinner around and not. He is wearing clothes, and he's a bit larger now that I've taken him in.
And he has spoken to you.
Haven't met one of your kind before, Rabbit.
Yeah, there's not a lot of us around here. We generally from the Fae.
Okay, well, now that you're all here, perfect. Well, my name is Threign. Well,
I'm hearing.
There is more to the name, but I shall indulge that as we get to know each other more, as I heft the axe again on my shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, these are people you've just met. You don't need to share your family name with them yet.
No,
the code of honor dictates that friends, you share that with. Yeah, you don't have to share it with these people.
I'll share it with you all as I determine if you're friend or foe.
Yeah.
It's good to meet you,
Harengon in the Harengon.
Yeah.
Oh, nice to meet you, Rabbit, again.
I'm Niles. Niles Silverwind.
Bird. Perfect.
I can see where this is going.
We'll get there.
That's Mushroom Woman over there, so Shroom, I guess I'll call you.
I don't trust you.
Oh, actually, that's pretty good. Sorry, Lyra. That wasn't good.
I'm fine with Mushroom Woman. It's all good. Also, guys, how do we know that he's not the second coming of Courtzy Stone Man? I mean, they said he was gonna reincarnate, and then suddenly another guy with a stone hand comes up, and they find us.
Well, Lyra, he doesn't seem to have. He hasn't attacked us yet.
As I get more comfortable, I start bringing out large meats that are in my backpack, and I just start gnawing into them.
Yeah, I don't think that's
abandoned, and I'm using my hands. There's no utensils. It's messy and loud.
I look at Lyra as this is happening, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think our deceased Ganassi friend would be bringing out the cured meats for us. I think he's okay.
No, I'm not offering them
What
to
if-
you. It's all for me.
Oh,
What
Oh.
if this is what he wants us to think, and he's gonna wait for us to get our guard down while we're asleep because we kicked his ass so good last time, and then he's gonna swing at us?
I can tell you that you've never kicked my ass. It did not happen. So I don't know what you speak.
It's becoming
He's supporting
apparent.
my own argument.
It's becoming apparent, Ember, that these people have never met a Goliath of the Frost tribe before. Like, this is pretty standard, like, Frost Goliath behavior, but the rest of them seem to be really a bit put off, which is probably a bit confusing to you, Ember, because, I mean, this is just pretty standard for how they act. But you're quickly realizing they've probably not interacted with Frost Goliaths before.
Yeah, cold reception kind of thing. I'm going to walk over and I'm going to shake your hand and go, right, Ember, the collective.
Goliaths, did they shake hands? I don't know their culture very well. Do they do that, or do I do something else?
Yeah, no. If I mean, the Firbolgs often do. They do a two-handed clasp.
Yeah, I'll do the clasp.
Goliath, yeah,
like
you
the
would
predator
normally
handshake.
between Goliaths, you would do the double forearm
Right,
clasp,
perfect.
and then you often will like bump heads very gently together. That's a
I did
greeting for
18th
within.
athletics on the clasp.
It's a strong clasp. But yeah, I mean, you've interacted. I'd say you've interacted with Firbolgs before. There's probably an enclave of Firbolgs not even that far away, maybe a day or half a day's travel from your Goliath enclave. You've interacted with Firbolgs many times. You know how they interact. You know their customs, and generally there's a mutual respect between the two groups.
So did he say Ember, like just
Yeah.
his name, first name, not anything else?
You said Ember.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I
Okay,
actually
cool.
said Ember of the collectives.
Ember of the
Oh,
collective.
okay. I actually, if he's told me his last name, I feel like there's probably at least, even though like I'm Frosty's fire and stuff like that. Perfect.
He's not showing
My
any
name,
signs
and
of. I guess he did produce flame. Actually, I was going to say there's no signs of like him being a
I don't know
flame
that yet.
druid, but actually he did literally pull out a Molotov cocktail and light his hand on fire and go,
Oh, yeah,
I will make this."
he was, but I didn't see that happen because I didn't really interact with him until after that had boiled down. But as I do say, I'll say to him, Threign, and I'll mumble it though because there's food in my mouth.
Wow.
So it's I'm not going to do that though. But yeah, that's.
Yeah, you can wash some of it down with this. And I'm going to hand him the rest of my my flask or whatever I have of my bottle of wine.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much for that. I down it all and I then toss it.
Yeah, the bottle shatters. It's quite nice, actually. I mean, it's probably a bit sweeter, quite fruity, but it's all right. It's quite good. I'm not going to say you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Awesome. With that,
You're not part of a cult, are you? Like about the elements, or do you know anything about a cult? Because
cult. Not. I'm from the north, and I'm not part of a cult. My tribe or clan is definitely not a cult. So no, I don't think so. I don't even know what you speak of.
he's alright by me.
Wow, that was
Mumbling and remember, this is all with food in my mouth.
you're awfully trusting of our new friend here, Harry. I thought you would be a little bit more wary.
Well, like I caught up with you guys late as well, and you guys put trust in me and didn't even ask me any questions.
It's a good point, actually.
So I owe this guy the same favor, eh?
Actually, it's a good point. We haven't had a bit of time to ourselves to really get to know each other. I mean, Ember, this is the first time we've had an opportunity outside of that cave system to really sit down and sort of chat.
So, very good point. I think we've been fighting the whole time, essentially.
Yeah.
So, no, I've kind of only really caught all your first names and not sure how you're all gathered together, but or where we're going to next, really, at this stage.
That's just a fair point. Our objective here is complete. I don't think we really have a plan yet.
I will say, Niles, you would know that your objective is not complete. You were sent here to find the hill giants. All of this stuff was just what you stumbled across when you arrived.
We're meant to find it. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I was just looking at my notes, and I have Gunglot, the hill giant, as a notable name there. And Niles kind of like scratches his head a little bit and goes, "Oh, actually, that's right. Yes, we were here to find the hill giants. But
wait, hill giants?
Yes.
Now that's what I'm going to, isn't it, Owen? I think I'm actually going to them.
Well, I mean, ideally, you'd like to find some frost giants, but you haven't had any leads for them. And I mean, if you can meet the ancestors, the hill giant ancestors, maybe they could lead you to the frost giant ancestors. Yeah.
Bird, I'm more than happy to help you on your mission or quest. I too am also looking to talk with the hill giants, and not to mention, a few of them might be fun to spar.
Oh yes, I've heard they're quite formidable, as well as their gluttonous appetite, which you might actually have in common with them.
No, they eat more than me. I've been at a feast with some.
Oh really? Oh, how interesting. I was on
that actually. Giants are new.
But hill giant Goliaths. You've been around hill giant Goliaths before.
That's fair.
That's fine.
Yeah. Retcon the retcon.
Well, yeah, that's that would be good. We came here expecting to find the hill giants since we heard that they were in the area, and when we came to the city, it was in a bit of a state. We've just wrapped that up though, and now I guess we try and find the hill giants now, which might be easier said than done. They flew over the city, so I don't know where they'd be now. Does anyone have any ideas?
I think someone did mention that the hill giant thing flew a direction from the city, but I can't remember what direction it was.
We did.
Yeah.
One of the people told us that it was flying in a particular direction. But wasn't it north or something?
Is it?
Yeah.
North? Yeah.
We can find Ark and ask him. He's the Half-Orc guy. We left in charge of the people at the mine, so we can ask him again.
We should. Do we want to go back to the mines and tell them that they're?
No, I think they. Oh yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Were they finding some lost guys to the north, as well as the the town leader that had his house on the outskirts of the town? And then he was saying some not so nice things about him, and then they went to go find some other people.
Should we go check on the town leader?
Just say, maybe if we just go in that direction, we might find them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Good starting point.
Was it like a logging camp? No, that's where we were. It was logging camp.
Well, I don't think we actually went to the logging camp. We just went to the mine.
That's where they were headed. They were heading to the logging camp.
Oh, yes. But there were other villages. The ones that we were with were only just a small portion of the villages. There were others that went elsewhere. So I think the north might be a good starting point. We can go by the town leader's house and just talk to him, see what he's been doing these last couple of days, and we can go to the north.
Man, this is a lot of talk and no action. Let's get moving. What do you think about that?
I'm tired. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm awake now.
You're feeling great.
A long rest. I feel great.
Lyra does take the time to do lesser restoration. Little bits of mycelium sort of going into Harry's ear and stitching back together.
Oh, Lord.
Bits of brain that sort of got.
More involved.
Once in a while, you see his paw like suddenly jerk.
I'm going to let you know now that forcing a fungal mycelium growth to penetrate the blood-brain barrier and like pull tissue back together is not going to end very well for Harry. But that's what you do.
In a magical way.
No, I like
box of magic.
I love the idea that from now on, Harry's like one step closer to just being one of your spore.
Thralls.
Like thralls, yeah, spore thrall.
Yeah.
I actually can't.
By the end of this, I'll probably be the biggest thrall.
Yeah. Well, Harry, as Lyra performs this magic, it feels very uncomfortable. These tendrils moving in your ear. In fact, there's almost a little bit of a similarity to that sudden feeling of being immersed in that dark sea during your vision. But after a brief moment of discomfort, suddenly your head clears. You feel your thoughts moving back at a regular speed once again, and that dull, aching throb subside as lesser restoration removes your minor brain injury, or minor traumatic brain injury.
Oh, whatever. Thanks for the Lyra. That was the brain. The brain feels good.
So while they're doing that, I will go up to Niles as I'm sort of chewing on a big piece of jerky. So, what have you all gotten up to? Looks like your party has been around for a while. They know each other. What exploits have you all gotten up to? I am keen to hear.
Niles can't help himself and goes, well, it's funny that you should ask, my friend. We of the Tempest Adventuring Guild have been on many a quest, and this is but one of
Who are the
many.
Tempest Guild? Who are they?
What? What?
I've never heard of them. They must not have done much. I honestly, we're so isolated. I don't think we even would have heard of them saving the world.
I was gonna say, the whole thing with Tiamat. By the time the story got to your steading, the story was some like bad dragons escaped, but some city folk dealt with it. And that was the story as your people heard it.
This is unacceptable. I will tell you all of the Tempest Guild. I will tell you, you all know about the Tempest Guild. I will tell you, Threign, of the exploits of the Tempest Guild and how they dealt with Tiamat and her dragon cult. And I will explain basically everything that happened.
Threign, do you want to make me a quick insight check?
Would I have known any of this either, Owen? Because, I mean, I've got...
Oh, yeah.
Ember, you've heard bits and pieces of the story. Only because this is so much fun. You know that in a Firbolg steading over towards the north, near Cloudfodge, a gnome, a member of the Tempest Guild, a gnome by the name of Wiltix, had spent 2 weeks studying the lunar cycles and some sort of ancient lunar magic. The Firbolgs there were moon druids, were particularly in a good position to help him out. Their steading was, their enclave was all focused on the powers of the moon and the circle of the moon. So he spent 2 weeks there and told them some of what his adventures had been, and then when the events kind of unfolded during Tyranny of Dragons, you've heard bits and pieces, but never the full story laid out so completely. So it's probably good to hear. I was going to say, Jared, could I get an insight check for Threign?
Sure.
Harry sits down there and listens very intently as well.
Oh,
yeah.
23.
Oh, wow.
Threign.
That's high.
At first, you wondered if this Owlin, this Niles,
Bird.
might be a Skald. Yeah, Bird. He might be a Skald. The way he tells the story, the excitement, the glee, and I will get a quick performance check from Niles to see how well he tells the tale. You
Come on, you're going to do it well. You're going to do it well. You're going to do it well.
Roll. That's funny. That's funny that you say that, I'm in Skald.
If you were going to get a natural 20, now would be the time for it. Because
buddy, let's roll.
that would actually cement you as dear.
Can Harry help by being like, ooh, ooh, as the story goes?
Adds to the effect of it.
I will allow that, because you did jump in before Matt had clicked roll. Niles, you may roll with advantage. 19's much better. Much better.
That's pretty close.
No, the way Niles tells this story is fantastic, almost as if he was there. The details that he's learned. I mean, this is the tale of a Skald, Threign. You know he probably can't be, but he must be the equivalent of some Skald. I mean, clearly he's a warrior, tick. He's a good storyteller. Maybe this Niles is some sort of Skald. If so, you're not sure who his Jarl is, though. He seems to be
I want to ask him a question, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds amazing. What part have you had to play? What about your exploits? I didn't hear your name in any of those stories.
You see, I played I was off on various assignments.
But what are your exploits? You seem to have something about you're worthy enough to have the stone.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I up until recently was more involved with the Silverwind family, running errands and performing menial tasks for the Silverwind family. To be perfectly honest, this is a lifelong dream come true to finally be a part of this adventuring guild, no less the Tempest Adventuring Guild, mind you.
He looks a little dejected and just goes, mediocre.
Well, Niles did punch a giant mechanical scorpion. That was pretty cool.
Oh, that's true. And I have fought in various martial arts schools, mostly other Owlin and a couple of other.
What
temples,
is this martial arts that you speak of? I don't think we would have them up. It's just live or die combat.
Oh, there's definitely training and things like that, but yeah, it wouldn't be given like this whole
Not
structured
like a
organizational
martial
style.
arts.
Yeah, the name.
Show me some of your fighting styles and such.
Niles' eyes like light up, and he goes, you wish for a demonstration then? Well, very well. And Niles...
I actually put my axe down and I bring out my fists like...
Oh,
right,
really?
Let's go, and I crack my neck.
Okay. Niles sort of like his wings start to stretch out. He like sort of limbers up his arms, and you see probably a very lithe figure, which is almost like the polar opposite to your like very strong build. And Niles just goes, if it is a demonstration you wish for.
I don't want to actually have a combat though. I'd rather just sort of us like trade some blows.
Oh, okay.
I don't want an actual combat. I don't want to like drag that down.
In that case,
I'm just testing.
In that case, I'll just sort of show you a few moves. I sort of like punch a few times, to give a couple of kicks. It's more performative and like almost like has like a dance-like quality to it.
That's what I was going to ask, Matt. Is Niles trying to sort of do techniques to show off his dexterity, show off his...
Yes.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Definitely.
I'll have you roll me an acrobatics check.
Yeah, 100%.
It sounds like Threign, are you showing off anything as well, or?
No, I'm just testing him. I'm just trying to get a bit of a feel for what type of fighter he is. I'm not really doing a lot. I'm just sort of I guess I'm just testing him, throwing some punches, seeing how he reacts to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that had the potential to be really cool, but I rolled a 14 with a plus.
Really quick reflexes. I definitely battle-hardened reflexes. This bird is no stranger to combat, and also takes a punch. One of your blows does land, and Niles isn't even winded. Like there's a brief pause, and then you watch as his technique adjusts and starts to take into account some of your blind spots. This is clearly a skilled fighter, one who has focused on a very specific area of combat that, some of the warriors, some of the Frost Giant warriors would focus on. He moves much more like a... there's a specific military term that was used in Viking culture for the kind of like quick in and out style combat. I can't remember it. It'll come back to me in a moment. This is definitely a worthy warrior. You get the sense that there's probably still some room for growth and improvement, and given the lack of involvement in many heroic deeds of which he speaks, this is clearly maybe a skald in training, one who is still forging his pathway. If he accompanies you, he'll get to participate in lots of heroic endeavors.
Oh, that he will. I look at him and sort of go, okay, you definitely got some punch about you. You're a worthy warrior, but just a tip: too much dancing, too much unnecessary movement, too much flair. None of that helps when, at the end of the day, you just bury your axe in the head.
But
the most direct route is the best route. You flutter about too much.
See, I don't actually need an axe to deliver the killing blow. I rely on these. My talons sort of they just kind of I just flex my fingers pretty much.
I sort of nod. Well, we shall see your exploits on the battlefield then.
As we will for you as well.
Oh, I look forward to it. You'll be able to write your own stories, bird.
Okay, big man.
He smiles at that, the little sort of repartee.
Cool.
Perfect.
Awesome, okay.
As you guys begin gathering your things together, heading back out onto the main streets, you hear a horn sound in the distance, this low that echoes across the landscape. And as your eyes are drawn upwards, heading from the northeast, what at first looks like an enormous hill, a fort constructed around it, emerges from above the treetops, moving impossibly towards you. As it gets closer, it rises above the forest below, hovering in place. And you see this enormous fort, shadow underneath it, casting this darkness that hides the forest from view. And as it stops, probably about 200, 300 feet away from the edge of the town, you see gathering at the edge of this enormous hill figures, humanoid in appearance, but clearly far larger than any man or any human or elf. These are clearly giants, dressed in stitched leathers and furs, musculature that's marked with areas of, I'd say, fat as well. These like quite large, muscular, but also slightly overweight figures push themselves to the edge of the fencing, this large palisade wall surrounding the fort, and begin looking, eyes peering over the edge as they peer below, trying to catch a glimpse of the town. You hear shouts in a language that I'd say Threign and Ember kind of vaguely recognize, both of you being giant kin. The dialects you speak, Firbolg and Goliath, originally were, a very, very long time ago, dialects of giant. So the language is familiar, but... What was that, sorry, Si?
I've actually got giant as a language, I'm pretty sure.
You do, but it is the Firbolg variant of it. But as time goes on, I discussed this with Jared as well. As time goes on, and the two of you get more used to the giant language, you will become fully proficient in that language, because it's been hundreds of years since the groups were separated, since the giants have been here. So your understanding of the language has shifted and changed. So it's kind of like how we would be if we were listening to people speaking the old original form of English from 100, 200, 300 years ago. It'd be quite different to what we speak today. Yes, Dave, you've raised your hand like you're in class. Aww.
I took a spell called Comprehend Languages.
You did. Yeah.
Yes.
They'll help. They'll help.
Yeah.
Are they like? Is it? Okay. Can I? Are they like yelling down, or are they just talking amongst each other? I'm just trying
You
to figure
can
out
see that they're clearly talking amongst each other. The hill itself. So I'll give you a bit of visual.
I am going to greet them.
Okay. They're still pretty far away. They're like 200, 300 feet
Yeah,
away.
that's fine. I have Thaumaturgy. I got that with my giant foundling. Oh no, sorry, the Path of the Barbarian. I'm going to, in my own giant dialect, shout at 3 times my volume.
Oh wow!
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, basically, I'm not going to shout this. Basically, welcome. What is your agenda here? I guess. Cool. But in giant, which is my Goliath.
In your Goliath dialect. The fort. I'll give you a bit of a visual description of the fort too, so that it helps you with this next bit that I'm going to describe. This is a hill that has somehow been raised into the sky. Occasionally, patches of dirt fall off the underside. You can see a network of metal is embedded in the ground, and these large crystalline circular discs underneath appear to be emanating some sort of soft glowing light. I'd say, given your interactions and experience with giant tech, this is very clearly very similar to the arcane constructs you've encountered before. Runes covering the surface, but it's almost like this was created and buried in the hill and then was activated, lifting the hill up with it. Grass covers the outer section that's not filled with the palisade fort. A number of large, massive dwellings are built around the lower rings of this enormous hill, but at the very top, an enormous longhouse constructed of large pine logs, full tree trunks, to create this enormous longhouse. And as the giants begin sort of like talking amongst themselves and shouting, that horn rings out once again. And then as Threign calls up, "Oh, welcome! What is your business here?" The giants fall silent. Yeah, 3 times your normal volume. The giants fall silent, looking out. And then you hear this drum. And emerging from inside the longhouse you see a woman. Dark black hair tied into a long braid. She's dressed in this long, flowing, almost like strips of hide, either from an enormous bear or possibly even a large mastodon, an enormous mammoth. It's hard to say. I'd probably say for Threign, this is either a dire bear or mammoth fur that's been stitched together, the skin that's been stitched together. But for the rest of you, some enormous mammal. Several have been killed to create this this clothing that she's wearing. Jewelry adorns her upper arms, braces constructed of wood that has been bleached white in the sun and bound together, affixed with large hewn gemstones, not carefully polished but naturally cut. And as she steps down, you can see that her lower lip has been pierced in two places by enormous tusks, either from some mighty creature, possibly even an enormous elephant seal, these two bone tusks that have pierced her lower lip. She holds aloft a huge staff, and as she bangs it down, the clamour stops immediately, the giants turning up towards her. She cocks her head as she looks down, and her voice calls out in common. Actually, no, she would talk in the dialect, in a rough dialect that is, So she would call back in a dialect that's that is kind of understandable to both Ember and to Threign. How strange, small folk who know our tongue. Tell me, what is it you do? You stand before Jarl Gunglot. What is it you want? And why is our sphere malfunctioning?
Oh!
Her voice calls out and echoes across the valley. I'd say Niles, Harry, and Lyra. At first, this doesn't make any sense to you. And then suddenly there's this warmth, this vibration from your implants. And Threign and Ember's knowledge of the language is briefly shared. There's this connection, and suddenly you hear what they hear as she speaks it.
Niles just looks around and goes, I don't know if we can... That was pretty loud.
I look at you and go, these seem to be the hill giants that you want to speak to, I guess. That's what I gathered.
We were told about a gunglot. That must be her. Should we? I look around. I'm like, I actually not really prepared for this. We had the feast. We were going to bring them food, and we don't really have any food now. I'm feeling a little bit unprepared. Actually, I wasn't expecting the hill fort to be just there. This is a bit of a problem. We were going. I look up at Threign actually, and I say the plan was just to ask about the hill. You see, the city here belonged to a village, and when the sphere popped out of the ground and started destroying the village, we were sent to investigate. Well, it wasn't so much to investigate the sphere; it was more to talk to the hill giants, just to make peace and to make sure that everything.
So what are you saying is that there's no one in this village anymore?
Oh, but there was, and...
but there's not now, so you can offer all their food to these giants then. Problem solved.
But you see, the villagers might want to come back to the city, and we've actually told the sphere to rebuild the city for the villagers, so...
Well, they weren't strong enough to fight off the constructions, so... that right to the food, I think.
As you are talking amongst yourselves, you watch as the hill slowly lowers, the forest underneath suddenly bursting alive with activity as birds and beasts begin pouring out from the trees, attempting to flee before this enormous hill just lowers, and with this almighty groan and crack, the forest is squashed beneath this enormous hill that just lowers down. The ground underneath your feet shudders ever so slightly.
I just look at Threign again and go, you seem awfully familiar with all this. Do you have one of those where you're from?
No, I don't. This is... The Giants returning is quite a glorious thing, is it not? Come on, let's go and greet them. This should be fun.
Harry hides.
I start walking towards the hill giants with... Yeah, just very just sort of walking with a purpose.
Let's probably pull message stones to urgently contact Mira.
Yeah.
What do you say to Mira?
Hill giants here in town. Friendly ? And then maybe probably something along the lines of, I don't have a good feeling about this.
Because crazy frost giant dude is walking towards him as we speak.
Yeah, pretty much.
Lyra, I'm going to get you to roll me a percentile dice.
Ooh, fuck. I don't like this.
35.
Oof.
A strange, staticky buzzing is all you hear back.
Oh no.
I have a good
Yikes.
feeling about this guy.
I just look at Lyra like, what? Like, I kind of like slow and I walk next to Lyra and I just look at Lyra and go, you do realize, and I look around, we're the only 2 members of the Tempest Guild left. This is beginning to become a little bit, I don't have a good feeling about this one.
Completely and utterly outside of our wheelhouse and what we were actually sent here to do. And we haven't even told Mira that we don't even have most of our team here with us, and we've got a bunch of new people, which, I mean, most of them seem kind of cool, but, you know.
Yes.
I mean, you know what Mira would say, though, in this time. Both of you hear this echo. Hand out business cards.
That's what I was thinking.
That's true. Niles would have his hand in his pocket ready to give out his, like, custom.
Or do you have your cool business cards?
Oh, of course. What is that question? Of course.
When this thought enters your mind, do you suddenly bring them out to give it to us all?
I think Niles knows enough that...
Yeah.
As you see me striding forward, do you rush up next to me to give me your business card?
I mean, if I'm gonna say anything, I would have given you the business card prior.
Okay, I look at it. Yes. This is very interesting indeed.
I kind of like, I give it out, like, kind of being like, yeah, this is big. But in the back of my mind, after witnessing our short, like, interactions, I'm probably just like, he doesn't care about this business card.
Is this an advertisement for food or something?
It's just a little bit of paper there to tell you who I am and what I'm about.
Right. I look at it, squint my eyes. Yes. This is very most enlightening. Sure.
A certain friend of mine likes her business cards, and I thought it would be a good idea. That's besides the point.
Perfect. No problem at all. I'll keep this for later when I'm eating my food and I need to, clean my mouth.
Oh no! But the embroidery,
it's a good
the
napkin.
detailing. The embossing. No.
It's very small and solid to be a napkin.
It's big.
Especially in your hands. It's like a
very small feather in your hands.
Yeah.
Yes. This won't even start the fire.
As Threign begins to make his way across the town and out the north gates, who is heading with him? I know Harry is in stealth. 26. Is anyone else heading with Threign?
Oh, I will go after Threign.
Seeing if
you're right next to me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
She'll be hanging back, but like,
yeah.
So it's clear that she's with the group.
Hey Matt, it's me and you on the front lines, baby.
I think actually Ember might be at the front with you. Did you, Ember? Yeah.
No, I would have just started walking with you. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
He's pretty confident.
Ember, you're giant kin. You know that as a Firbolg, I mean, you know that you are one of the tribes. I mean, from the Firbolg's history, you are one of the tribes of the giants. You have just as much of a right to meet with them as any of the other giant clans do. You just don't know how whether or not the hill giants observe that or not. That's what the Firbolgs believe. As you begin striding up, you see the front of this palisade wall, a massive gate adorned with these enormous boar heads that are mounted and stuffed over the gate. Their tusks vicious and as long as a person. These boars must have been enormous beasts when they were alive. As the gates open, 2 hill giants stride out, easily 14 feet tall, dressed in very similar stitched leathers, one male, one female. Again, quite stocky, much longer arms than you might have expected, very broad shoulders, a little bit of a, almost like a dad belly, a little bit of a dad bod, but still very muscular, wielding enormous spears. The shafts of which are clearly constructed of that same treated pine that the most of the wood is, but the actual blades themselves look like almost a worked obsidian. And you can see areas where these thin coils of electrum wire actually pass down the length of the shaft of the spear away from these obsidian blades. As they see you approaching, the giants stride forwards, taking up a defensive stance, spears at the ready, not down, pointed at you, but up, within arm's reach. And as they form an honor guard, their 2 spears locked together, the first one looks down towards all of you, the male.
Well, 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 small folk at Gunglot's palace. Do you think they'll be made to go and see Morla?
As he looks towards his companion. You watch as the female hill giant snickers under her breath. They'll have to prove themselves somehow, won't they?
Can we hear them?
Oh yeah.
As in, like, I know we can hear them, but can we understand them is the better question to ask.
Yeah, it's not speaking common. They're still speaking that dialect of giant. And you're picking up most of this. As they speak, that is perfect timing. As they speak, a third figure steps out from inside the town and begins walking towards them. Moving much more lively, a giant forged approaches. About half the size of the hill giants, roughly about 8-9 feet tall, about as tall as Threign is. You can see that this warforged, rather than having the beautifully worked metal, the gears inside of it are constructed of bone and ivory. And its outer plating is made of the similar material, a much more tribal-looking giant forged. And as it approaches and stops, this face that is actually marked with 2 tusks emerging from a worked wooden mask with the eyes sort of glowing with that ruby light. You watch as it sort of cocks its head, you hear this tick, 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 and then as it looks back, it goes, checking language, common. Confirm, as it looks towards all of you.
Confirm.
Yeah, confirm.
I will translate. Looks back up and says something in giant to them, which seems like an affirmative.
So did you say...
Oh, yeah, you go.
So those giants, they said something about, like, we have to prove ourselves?
Oh, yeah.
At the moment of that, when Threign hears that, because I feel like there would still, like, be a loose giant ordering, so I'm not just someone who's going to fling myself at giants, because they're above me technically in that ordering, so, like...
It's more like, for the Goliaths, the giants are seen as your honored ancestors. Each tribe that you are associated with, so that the Goliaths associated with the Forst, the Goliaths associated with the Fire, like, they hold their own tribe in higher esteem than the others, but all giants are worthy of respect. Absolutely. The ordering isn't as tight in Nostea. It's not that sort of set hierarchy of it's much more loose, and it's this idea of representation, each of the Jarls underneath the essentially the High King.
But as they say, prove themselves, a massive smile crosses Threign's face. Proving ourselves, you say? That should be fun. It'd be fun to show what us Frost can do.
Translating through the Warforged, the giants speak.
Oh, thinks because he's got some frost giant pinky toe blood, he's one of us, huh? We'll put them to the test. See what they can really do.
I smile even more. I'll prove you wrong.
Come, Gunglot awaits. Best not to keep her waiting too long, if you don't want to end up as her meal.
And with that,
Oh.
the two hill giants begin walking away. One of them, the woman, nodding with her head to follow as she takes up the rear. And they begin leading you back towards the hill fort.
I follow them.
Yeah.
I don't even talk to you guys or communicate anything or plan. I just follow after them with a massive smile on my face at the thought of a contest and proving myself. Two giants.
Niles is probably slightly more wary because this is fucking crazy. He just looks around for his companions. He looks at Lyra and goes, "What is happening? Who is this Mola? Why do we have to prove ourselves? Don't
I
like
think
this
we're
at
going
all.
to find out one way or another. We may as well walk into it willingly."
Have you seen Harry anywhere? Where is he? Where did he go?
Harry?
Look at Dave just sitting there in silence.
Yeah, no, Harry's just not. He can kind of hear, but he's a bit further away. He's just following. He's stalking everyone. Just staying in the shadows.
I just say, I hope he's not too far away. I just continue walking.
He went for Smoko, and he's at the TAB bring down a multi.
Oh my god.
It's basically my best mate every weekend. Yeah, cool.
As you are led into the Hill Giant Fort, Harry, there's going to be a bit of a problem for you because as the group pass through the palisade wall, the gate immediately begins swinging shut behind them.
Oh no.
It's a giant gate, I assume.
Yeah.
And you're a tiny bunny.
No. Harry sprints to join the others.
As you sprint up, having to sort of drop your stealth to try and get in, the giant behind the woman suddenly pauses and lowers her spear as you scuttle right between the gap of the fence as the gates close, and she holds the spear down. She goes, What is this?
Yeah, sorry. I'm with them. I was just doing a bit of business behind the tree over there. So everyone's sort of walking off without me. So I just had to sprint through.
Without lowering the spear, you watch as the giant woman turns her face towards the lot of you, focusing her attention on the Firbolg and the Goliath. Is this true? Is this small creature with you?
Well, when I met him, I thought he was dinner. But I suppose, yes.
Yeah, that's our friend, Harry.
Harry. Interesting. Well, you look harmless enough. She raises the spear back up. Go with your friends. You have delayed enough. Gunglot will not be happy.
Oh, that's not good.
But we came straight away.
Giant lady just nods her head to follow you, watches the figure leading you up, looks back a little bit confused. What's this sudden delay? Why are you guys stopping? Around you, the pathway leads up through this, almost like a circular motion, all the way up to the top of the hill. You can see a number of houses perched atop it, massive, massive homes. And inside, curious eyes peek from behind walls, outside of doors, leaning over the edge of some of the walkways. Hill giants. Old, young, even some children. The children who are as tall as Threign, young children, look in alarm and point at the funny bird wearing clothes and the strange rabbit walking about.
You know
and
what?
talking.
I would even probably start laughing with a couple of them.
Not a bird.
One of them, a little girl.
I'm so sorry, man.
One of them, a young girl who the Warforged translates at her request. You. She points at you, Threign. You only as tall as us. Why so much beard? For one so young.
Unfortunately, I was not blessed with your ancestry, but there's more to me than you think.
She looks in
Calm down,
confusion
she's-
at the
she's too
Warforged.
young.
What was that? Sorry, Harry.
Oh no, I was just being a smart ass. Sorry.
What'd you say? I want to hear it.
Oh, I was like, calm down. She's a minor.
Yeah, fair. No need to challenge them to one-on-one combat.
No, I'm
she'd
not
kick your
telling
ass though. As you are led up around, the curious faces only grow in number, and as you reach the top of the hill, the large longhouse standing before you, you can see the doors have been opened wide, dwarfing you. The roof. Excuse me, just trying to suppress that cough. The roof high above, I think I've caught it. The roof high above just disappearing into the darkness, but the inside of the hall radiates warmth and light and heat. Massive braziers line the walls, burning with this very warm, hearty red glow. A spit roast over open coals is in the very center of this massive longhouse, and lining the walls are enormous barrels, overflowing with what looks to be ale and mead. Inside a number of hill giants, it looks like probably the warriors sit and feast and laugh. The raucous noise mixed with the sound of music. You can hear drums as well as a strange crooning sound as a large inflated bladder with pipes sticking out of it is played by one of the giants, the bagpipes, as they play this very odd crooning noise. At the far end of the hall, seated in an enormous high chair, you see the woman from before, Gunglot, the leader, or one of the leaders of the hill giants. And as she sits in her throne, she raises her head, a massive haunch of venison in one hand. She looks an appraising eye over the five of you and then looks down at the space in front of her throne, holds up a hand and gestures with a single finger. What would you like to do?
Well, I start walking to her.
Yep, here he does as well.
Niles doesn't really have a choice, so he just sort of...
I will admit, my eyes keep getting drawn to the feasting that is happening around me, and I look very giddy. I know that I need to honor them because they're giants, and I'm giant kin, but I'm 100% trying my best to sneak some meat or even liquor. That's too probably big for me to handle.
The tables on either side of the spit roast. Simon's dropped us. How dare he? The tables on either side of the spit roast are lined with what look to be warriors. Some of them even wearing what looks to be a type of armor constructed from bones that are being interlocked to form almost like layered plate or like a hardened chitin out of bone. Essentially, there's bone mold armor. Silence slowly sweeps through the hall in line with your footsteps as you approach the table. Conversation falling silent, music drifting off as the warriors turn and watch you. Men and women following your movements, slowly lowering what they were eating, their conversations fading away as you approach the high table up the left-hand side. And as you stand before Gunglot, you see a much older gentleman standing behind her. Most of the hill giants are lacking big, thick beards. They generally are clean-shaven. This figure, long silver grey hair that is slowly receding from his forehead, thin, wispy grey beard, dressed in much more colourful, dyed leathers, holding a flute that he slowly lowers as you approach, and as he raises a single eyebrow at you standing there, he speaks.
Normally it is custom to kneel before your Jarl. I would suggest you do the same,
he says in common.
Lyra does it.
I kneel, yeah.
Here he bends the knee.
You just hear an audible oh, sorry, and then I just immediately kneel.
Perfect. Gunglot looks down at you and then turns towards this older gentleman and says something in Giant. The dialect not quite as easy to pick up this time. He nods.
My Jarl has instructed I translate for you. We prefer not to use the constructs for matters of great import. We hill giants have always prided ourselves on our independence from technology, from arcanistry. Tell me, what do you seek here in the halls of Gunglot, true leader of the hill giants? And how? You see his tone shifting as he suddenly notices the things in your hands. Did you come across the Hjotstovs? And that is where we're going to end for tonight, because that conversation is a long one.
That's spicy.
That's a much longer conversation.
Wow.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for Return of the Giants. It has been an honor, once again, being able to DM for you and to tell you these tales. If you have enjoyed any of our work here tonight, make sure you go and hit the like button or thumbs up button or subscribe button, whatever the equivalent is on whichever platform you are watching or listening on. We have an NPC summon from the Twitch community from Malogolatalin. I think I got that right. Hopefully I got that pronounced. Malogolatalin.
It is a thing. That is, yeah.
I reckon I almost got that. We have a community summon. They have already messaged me in the Discord, and I know exactly what they're summoning. I just Malogalatalin. Malogalatalin. There you go. Easy. Thank you for spelling that out phonetically. I really needed that tonight. Thank you. I'm still recovering from a bit of a coldy, flu-y thing. My brain's not 100%. They've already spoken with me and sent me through the details for their summon. I am very excited. Originally, I was going to have the proving of yourselves to the Hill Giants be something quite different, but when they suggested this summon, it was too good an opportunity to pass up. So we've had them delay. They messaged me a number of weeks ago with this summon. I said, whoa, hang on, hold off. I reckon this is a great one. So it has now been summoned. We are going to be seeing this bad boy, this NPC summon next session, and it will be most of the session plus a bit of the one after, I suspect.
Wow.
From all of us here tonight, thank you so much. Have a lovely evening. Have a wonderful day if you're listening to it recorded. And we will see you all again really soon with more D&D. But until then, stay safe, stay well, and see you guys really soon. Farewell, everybody. Bye!
Bye, guys!
See you later!